We have all the new commitment cards for the year, which we've handed out. If you didn't get one, it's because you are either not on our stewardship rolls or we made a mistake and it's not personal. Sorry. So if you don't have a card, let me know and I will get you one in some fashion or another. But I do want to start by thanking my family who spent almost all of Friday putting together these mailings. So it's quite an arduous process, especially in my house. So over the next few weeks, we'd ask you to consider, and as you pray about what time, talent, and treasure you may be able to offer and commit to St. Gregory in the coming year, I want you to consider a few questions. First of all, why am I here? And I mean you. Why are you here? Why are you at St. Gregory? Why are you here now? And why you? Why are you here? Okay? I want you to think hard about these questions because they're very important to the future of St. Gregory, our parish. I want you to think about why many of the people in this room today drove past another Orthodox church to get here this morning. Or at least they didn't drive to the closest Orthodox church. I know many of you, had a closer church you could have gone to. Some of you could have walked to a church this morning. You chose to drive 35 minutes instead, right? What is it about St. Gregory that makes it special to you? Having considered these questions, consider what responsibility you have to the success of this parish. As I was preparing today, much like George in his speech, I got to thinking about the meaning of words. So what does the word stewardship mean? What is the definition of the word? And obviously, like any word in the dictionary, there's a lot of different ones, but here's the one I like best. The careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care. So that's where we are here with stewardship in our church, is the care and management of this place, our spiritual home. 29 and a half or so years ago, when St. Gregory was founded, a small group of faithful Orthodox got together, just like all churches did when they were founded, and they pooled their collective time, talent, and treasure to create and support their new church. Later, others came along, and they offered their time and talent and treasure as well, and the church exists today only because of the contributions of stewards like you guys, and again, not just in the treasure component, but in the time and talent. Really, everything you see here, everything that's happening today, was somebody's time and talent that went into making it happen. So keep that in mind. And then what I come to is that now it's our turn. We're charged. We have the stewardship of our parish. And I hope you can agree, this is one of the things that came up in our seminar yesterday that George mentioned earlier, that the best days of this parish are ahead of us, not in the past. So I think we can make that happen. It's obviously been a difficult couple of years for our parish for obvious reasons, and we've not been able to fully realize the capability we have in the conduct of our ministries. And we're still not back to full attendance. So, I'm not going to, everyone knows that. We've seen it. But we still have the charge to press on. So I see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I see so many things to look forward to, and I hope you will too. Sorry. The foundations of our parish are really strong, and I'm going to steal some of the words I heard Stefan say the other day too. We have the right mission. We have the right leader in Father Alex. We have the right facilities to carry out our mission. And we have you, the right people, to be our stewards. We have a robust list of ministries, from liturgy to Sunday school, full up to host, food and friends, and many, many more. And we have plans to launch additional initiatives as well. I know George touched on it already, but yesterday, several of us from this parish met in person with leaders from our district. So we got to meet with our dear Father Ted and Father Tony Vrame yesterday in Brockton, and where we zoomed in with the 8 other districts in our metropolis. So from Saco, Maine to Springfield, Mass to, I don't know what they all were, but there were a lot of them. And they each had 4 or 5 parishes there, so there was well over 100 people who joined this call yesterday. to kick off the Thriving Communities campaign, which you might find interesting, as I did, that the metropolis seeks to create thriving parishes, which is exactly the theme that we've been talking about in this church for almost 10 years now. The idea of moving, of metamorphosizing, or what's the other word, George? Transforming from surviving, which is just getting by, right, to thriving, where we are comfortable in our position and we have joy in our position, not just existing, right? So they chose that as the theme to this multi-year campaign that's been broken up into a number of phases. And in the first phase, we've been given a very important task as a parish to understand fully who we are and where we've come from, so that we can move to the next phase, where we will be defining what additional resources would be necessary for us as a parish to consider ourselves thriving. And I say consider ourselves because this is not a one-size-fits-all campaign, which is really excellent. So whatever St. Catherine or Annunciation or Annunciation or any of the other churches feel they need to thrive themselves, that doesn't have to be what we need to thrive. So we have the opportunity here to create a campaign to actually get money that's already been allocated from this initiative through the Lilly Foundation, to provide us perhaps with resources that we would use to become a thriving parish. So you'll be hearing a lot more about this project in the months and years to come, but I wanted to bring it up here because, I'll come back to it in a minute. But the next thing I wanted to do, though, is to update you on the progress of our 100 at 30 campaign. Many of you are familiar with this. It really laid out two important goals. The first was 100% participation in our ministries, and the second was funding 100% of our operating expenses through Stewardship by 2022, which is, of course, our 30th anniversary year as parish. So I'm happy to report on the second item that an independent analysis of our finances was conducted over the last year, and it showed that while stewardship contributions per se, so when you look at our financial reporting and you see the stewardship line on it, that makes up only 72% of our income against expenses in any given year. In the last several years, in fact, it's been pretty steady. However, when you include things like candles, trays, envelopes, and most of our fundraisers that are primarily funded by the stewards of this parish, that's all grouped together in this analysis by what's called disguised stewardship. So we're all, we've talked several times over the last couple of years, about making a single contribution for your stewardship and not worrying so much about candles and trays and these things. And so while we've moved in that direction, it's important to point out that the money that we're collecting in these other areas, when you group all of that together as so-called disguised stewardship, we're actually now at 97% of our operations that are funded by you, our stewards, which is really fantastic. Thank you so much for that. The last 3% is really made up by things like our Mansfield Street Fair and a few of our golfers every year. But otherwise, you're the ones who are funding our operations. So thank you so much. We're so close to actually achieving 100% here, and it's well within reach. On the other goal, we're not doing as well, and really that's been significantly hampered by COVID, unfortunately. But that being said, we have been advising, as we get our commitment cards back from you over the last couple of years, we've asked you to check off, we're going to ask you to do it again. What ministries do you think you can contribute to? What ministries do you think you can help with your time and talent? And asking you to, as you fill out that card, to check off that box and send it back. What we've done with that information is make sure that all of the ministry chairs know who all of the people are who have checked off those boxes first and foremost. And then secondly, we've reached out to a number of you who have checked those boxes to get you into those ministries, to get you going. So there are a lot of our ministries that have seen an increase in membership, which is fantastic. And I think the biggest beneficiary of this, frankly, has been Philipticos, which is great. But over the coming year, our stewardship committee is going to do a much better job. As I pray we'll be able to open up more and more and conduct more activities here at the church. We'll be able to reach out to more of you and really find out where you think your time and talents can contribute to the success and growth and the thriving and the metamorphosis and transformation of our parish into a thriving community. So, what I need from each of you today then is to prayerfully consider what you can give sacrificially of your time, talent, and treasure for next year. We need each of you to review that list that I said. It's in your packets that I've handed out already. And if you don't have one, like I said, see me. And as in the past, we've asked you to review your financial contribution in light of your total income. So look at it, what percentage are you giving? And think about whether you can increase to 1% of your income if you haven't already. And if you had, can you go to 2? If you're already at 2, can you go to 3, etc. So think about that. I know that I know there's a lot of people hurting. I recognize that. We recognize that. This is not, we're in strange times, right? But on the flip side, many of us have been the beneficiary of a lot of good things over the last 2 years. Strangely enough, like raises and bonuses, and or even just funding from the government for whatever reason. So if you're able to do it, that would be great. It would be really helpful to us. And then once you've done all that, we're going to ask you to fill out those cards and hold on to them. So this year it's a little different than we've had in the past, right? Fill out those cards and hold on to them, because this year we're going to introduce what I'm calling, and I haven't vetted this with the rest of the team yet, but we're calling it Commitment Sunday. January 8th, which is also going to be our New Year's celebration with Vasilopita that day. We'll ask you to bring your cards back in person that day, and we will have a symbolic receiving of the cards through a passing of the tray in church, which I think many of you recognize we haven't been passing trays in church, but thankfully you've been putting your stewardship to that end anyway. So that's really great. So we're going to pass a tray next year, and we're going to collect all of your cards on that day, and we'll know where we stand after that. So last thing I wanted to just do is thank my stewardship committee, Stefan, George, Kathy, Chris. I think that was it at the moment. If you would like to join our stewardship committee, we do have some openings on it. We've had a few people drop over the last couple of years. So if you have some time or talent for that sort of thing, please let me know. And then also, of course, today the kitchen crew.